We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung tín đại đức tăng tình, vì tứ pháp hội cập nhật thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát từ ly cố đạc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Su Chế Đô Ye La Hư Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xế. Nam mô Tạc Tạc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya La Đề Tam Miao Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 1,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Ching Lang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good new advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识、弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa thượng Thiện Hóa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 2nd of June 2024. We are here at Way Mountain Temple to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay, it's kind of scholarly. So this lady there in the back who is first time at the temple may not be a good use of her time. I would take her down and gap with her, talk about anything else. Okay, this is way too much. But for us, I'm personally myself as well, I'm curious about this because it's a good exposure to the terminology and the scholarly analysis or thinking about Buddhism. So it's good at some point in time to be exposed to it so that we won't be as shocked when newcomers ask us about these types of concepts, so we know where they're coming from. We don't necessarily have to understand this, but to hear of them will help in the long run for us, okay? Because be prepared for the fact that more and more people will come and question us and see how much we know. And very quickly you tell them we don't know that much. We're not scholarly in terms of approach to Buddhism. We're more Americanized in that we are looking at performance, or looking at results. We don't talk, okay? We do, we walk. We walk the walk, we don't talk the talk. So why is that? because personally my emphasis is to help you become enlightened. Whatever it takes to help you become enlightened. The scholarly can come later at your personal time, your personal preferences. Okay. However, it doesn't hurt to be exposed to these important concepts on these that the Buddhist scholars came up with. All right. So, but I promise at the end of door number 2, we switch to something more, or 3, as we started 3 as well, right? Door number 3, we switch to something more not as scholarly. How's that? Okay. Yeah, so, but thank you all for coming. We are on slide 407. It's going to be a while, okay? It looks like Master Chiente and Master Young Abbot made it to San Francisco. I heard that the Young Abbot didn't sleep at all last night, and he drove at 5. It took an hour to load up the van, and took off at 5. How did you manage to do that? Did you have to swallow a lot of coffee or bump into people left and right, or as you drove down Highway 5?
Yes, Master, I didn't know how I up here either.
You mean you slept the whole time?
Yeah, it was sleepy. Yeah.
You drove, or did Chiente drive?
I drove.
I see. Okay. Well, apparently the gods are with you, because usually by 5 or 6 in the morning, people get very sleepy at the wheel. It's rather dangerous, especially if you didn't sleep the night before. Did you swallow a lot of coffee, or you stayed awake? I'm curious.
Oh, I have some snacks to eat.
Yeah, you have to eat when you drive for those hours. Yeah.
And I dropped by and slept for about an hour, I think.
I see. Yeah, and that's smart. Usually you sleep for an hour is because you didn't sleep the night before, but usually I would stop and sleep for, doze off for 15 minutes or so. It re-energizes you. Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it, because I was worried that you're going to smash my van. I have no van left to drive people around, even though it's a pretty old van. Okay, it's 407. Or perhaps it made a division to 3, as did Dharma Master Ji of Wu Chiu Mountain. That is, that in the 12 years prior, it was from seeing its existences that the way was obtained, and so it is called the teaching of the existence of marks.
或分为3，即五丘山吉法师为12年前见有得道，名有上教。
Okay, so it's talking about how these scholars, these Buddhist scholars, monks and Buddhist scholars, primarily monks back then, who were all enlightened. They're at least second stage arhat. Okay, so they have the wisdom and sage wisdom, and they decided to classify the Buddha's teaching into different types of teachings to make it easier for people to study and research. Okay, it's because usually that approach is because you approach Buddhism from a theoretical perspective. Okay, so that's why you learn the words like the scholars do, and you cram your mind and so forth, and you acquire knowledge. Whereas our style is more on the Chan side, where we actually meditate and open our wisdom, plant seeds of wisdom by studying some of the sutras. So that's why we go for the depth and they go for the breadth. So the different approaches. So in terms of training people, traditionally we always lean more on the depth side, where we train by our proprietary or our secret Chan practices, okay, Chan training techniques. And that has always been the case for the patriarchs. For example, when Bodhidharma, great master Bodhidharma, that Indian master, was told to transmit the Indian Buddhism, Indian Mahayana to China. He went over and he basically transmitted the Chan Dharma, okay? And from then on, the later patriarchs basically used the Chan Dharma as a main form of training for the next generations. So we're following along that line, because that provides us, first of all, with the depth, the ability to penetrate the depth, and then we can individually, you can choose to study whatever you wish, okay? I wish in the future you will study more on the sutras, you study more on the precepts, morality, the other two baskets. For Chan, I feel that the depth of the Wei-Yang lineage is right there, so that when you pick up the Chan materials, eventually you get the hang of it. It's not that hard for us, okay? But I hope in the future, more of you will go into the other baskets, into the precepts, which is very important for us, and also into the other shastras as well, okay? But I'm happy with the sutra here, okay? With the sutras and the Chan schools. All right. Here, some of the scholars, Buddhist scholars, chose to classify the Buddha's teachings into three types, three groups, so that was the case of Master Ji of the Wuqiu mountain. And so he started by saying that when you look at the Buddha's teachings, how the Buddha started teaching the humans and the gods, the previous 12 years, he saw that the Buddha was preaching us about existences. Existence refers to worldly things, okay? Things in the world. By looking at things in the world, you contemplate the worldly things, and that's how you open your wisdom, okay? So that is easier for people ordinary people who are new to Buddhism, and they lacked the blessings. Therefore, it's easy for them to connect with worldly people, worldly dharmas, than more advanced dharmas. Okay, and so that's why the Buddha started by teaching about existence of marks, meaning he taught about life, about the aspects of life that are desirable to you, and part of the aspects of life is about suffering, for example. He says if your suffering bothers you, if sickness bothers you, if death scares you, those are actually talking about the existence of marks. Marks are like death, about suffering, about pain, and so forth. Okay, so he said by talking about that, he's able to help people become enlightened and attain the way. Okay, so it's much easier for newcomers to connect to identify with. Okay, and so that's why it's called the teaching of the existence of marks. Okay, and in doing that, though, he's very successful because he drew a lot of scholars, he drew a lot of officials, he drew a lot of kings and queens and people who are opinion leaders. They flock to him and they say, wow, this is amazing. What you teach about is something that actually is very helpful to me because it helped me feel better about my life, okay? And help me become a better person. And actually, in some cases where people actually are very serious about the cultivation, open the wisdom. So in that existence of Mark teaching there, it goes a full range from ordinary people who are primarily concerned about leading a normal worldly life to the people who have wisdom like the arhats. So by teaching this existence of Mark's teachings, he was able to help a lot of people become enlightened. Okay? However, the problem with this, though, there's a weakness with that, is that it cannot go very far because of something called attachment to Dharma. There's still some Dharma marks that they attach to it. So, for example, this is not just theory, but this is a concern of mine. Many of my disciples are within this range here. And they got there because they unknowingly went through the door of the teaching of existence of Marx. Okay? And what we call in Mahayana, we also call it expedient doors of expedience. Okay, just some expedience to help you quickly go through, speed through this mess. Very much like on the freeway when you have a cloud of dust coming your way. Okay, and then you speed up and you go through it so that you don't have to be bothered by the storm. Okay, same thing. So, however, there's a problem with that, is that you become attached to that process. Okay, so that's what's called Dharma marks. Okay, that Dharma, the special method, the special expedient we use to help you break through quicker, you become attached to it. You see, wow, that's all there is to it. Actually, there's a lot more. There's only an expedient to help you bridge, go through the worldly things quicker, but actually it's not the end point. It's not the end goal. It's more than that. Okay? So that's why I'm concerned about that. Actually, I'm quite concerned. And so far, all those people who got there, who got enlightened because of through the door of the existence of Marx, are moving on. They're not stuck. Except for one. Yeah. Actually, I did fail with one person. Oh well. That's life. You can't win them all. 409. After the 12 years, reaching to the time of the Dharma flower, it was from seeing emptiness that the way was obtained, which is called the teaching of marklessness.
12年后，其至法华，见空得道，名无相教。
Okay. And later, this is commentary slide 410. Later, the teaching was in the time of the Dharma flower Lotus Sutra, which teaches about how all of you will become Buddhas. All of you here today, all of you who tune in, okay? All of you who have been practicing with us will become Buddhas. That's what the Buddha said. Okay, and that's why this sutra here is called the Dharma Flower Sutra. or the Lotus Sutra, and it is greatest news for all of us. Until then, it wasn't known. Until then, you have this concept of becoming a Buddha, becoming like reaching the supreme highest level of attainment for yourself was way out of reach for the Buddhists. They never thought themselves that it would be possible for them to get there. Okay, and the banana flower in that sutra, the Buddha specifically says, you did all these things, therefore you will become a Buddha in the future. I guarantee it. So this is such a relief for the Buddhist disciples, okay, and non-Buddhist disciples. Okay, Buddhist disciples, they will get there a little bit faster. Non-Buddhist disciples need to go through a little bit longer, more winding road to get there. But the Buddha says, for all the things we do, so because we have this temple here, because I have all these things here, and which makes the temple available for people, whether it's man or woman, black or white, or old or young, Buddhists or non-Buddhists. We making this available to all of you means that you will, because of the process, you will become a Buddha. All right? So it's a revolutionary. It's fantastic news. Yeah, and in particular, how do you become a Buddha? And in that Lotus Sutra or Dharma Flower Sutra, the Buddha taught about emptiness, true emptiness, and it's beyond the mark, the existence of Mark's teaching. The existence of Mark's teaching is much more limited, whereas the teaching of Marklessness is much broader, much more advanced, which is the continuation of the teaching of existence, the existence of Marks. Yeah. All right, and so that's why it's called the teaching of Marklessness. Okay, and so why is it important? This teaching of Marklessness resolve the issue of the teaching of the existence of Marks. Okay, the existence of Marks, people become attached to their attainment. They become attached to the way they got there. That's why I was a little worried when I admitted to you, because I taught sometime I use expedients to help people get through quickly. Okay, and people take it for granted, or people become attached to that process. Okay, but luckily for us, so far it's only one person who failed this lifetime. Maybe in future lifetime, there's still great news. Not concerned this lifetime. Future lifetimes, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will worry about you. All right. So it's the teaching of marklessness. Okay, so existence of mark is the first thing, and the next one is marklessness, which doesn't have the issues or the constraints or the pitfalls of the teachings of existence of marks initially. Okay. 411. At the very end, there was twin illumination of how all living beings have the Buddha nature, and the Chantikas can become Buddhas, which is called the teaching of the permanently dwelling.
最后双照，一切众生佛性，阐提作佛，明常住教。
Okay, 412. Thank you. So here's what happens. He started by saying that there are three types of teaching. The teaching of existence of marks, okay, which basically will look at worldly things Okay, and by looking at worldly things, you see that some of the things that you are so attached to are actually illusory. Okay, you can let go of them. Okay, and that's how you open your wisdom. Okay, so that's why from looking at your attachments, you will the teaching of existence of marks, that process through meditation, mindfulness meditation, through various forms of meditation practices, you will be able to open your wisdom, your transcendental wisdom, okay, and put an end to your suffering. That's called the existence of marks. That's how you can become enlightened and escape suffering, okay? And then the next teaching was the teaching of marklessness, where they actually said, all that marks there actually are illusory. Okay, it's no marks at all. Okay, so you shouldn't be attached to, in particular, to what you understand, what you know. Okay, because that's not ultimate. It's not the final destination yet. Okay, and that's what the marklessness. Okay, don't be attached to what you have. For example, today at the earlier in the Chan class, Lucas said, "Wow, some of you are so peaceful." Okay, and that's nice. But that peaceful that you experience, the peacefulness you experience, that bliss you're experiencing, okay, is not ultimate, not yet. Okay, if you move towards the teaching of marklessness, then your peace intensity, your bliss and peace intensity will be many-fold. Okay? So that's why it's only through these practices are we able to help you experience what is the existence of marks like, or marklessness is like. Whereas the scholars, they only know of it as a concept, as words. Whereas you, Chan, practitioners, are experiencing it. As I said, and put it bluntly for you, today I saw people experiencing existence of marks, liberation through existence of marks. Okay, and also some people are experiencing through marklessness. So that's why I'm saying, don't be stuck here with what you have. There's more, much more interesting, much more fascinating, much more rewarding things ahead. Okay? So back to the slide 412. At the very end, it was to illumination how living beings have a Buddha nature. So what happened is that in this period of the Dharma flower nirvana teaching period, the Buddha taught this sutra called Nirvana, and the final sutra that he lectured. He gave a sermon on before he entered Nirvana. Okay, and this Nirvana, is very famous because, especially with the scholars, and because it caused a lot of discussion. The first part of it, the first half of Nirvana Sutra, the Buddha says, the sutra says, this Sanskrit word for a type of beings, human beings, called Ichantikas. Ichantika is Sanskrit for having insufficient faith. These people believe, but not enough. Very like many disciples, Buddhist disciples, they believe, but not enough. Okay, so that's why they're stuck in the middle. But especially these Ichantikas are very big concern in the Nirvana Sutra, because it says they believe in the Buddha, they believe in the Buddhist teaching, but they don't have enough faith. That's why they cannot become Buddhas. What does it mean? And then later, the second volume, the second half, the Nirvana Sutra, then the Buddha corrected himself. He says, actually, Chantikas, those who actually have insufficient faith, can also become a Buddhas. So he contradicted himself. So why? And that's called the teaching of permanent dwelling. Okay? So why did he contradict himself? God knows why. I mean, he's the Buddha. He does whatever he wants. Buddha does whatever he wants. He's not worried about what we think. Okay? But what's the meaning? Chantikas have insufficient faith, therefore he cannot become a Buddha. And then later he says, actually they can become Buddhas. So why? Why is that? Anyone? Come on. The Koreans just have a good lunch, I hope. Speak. Speaking helped you stay awake. Yeah? No? Why? Why did the Buddha say, was the Buddha so wishy-washy? Sometimes he said, no, you can't do it. Then he said, no, yes, you can actually. Amen, you can. Huh? Anyone? Okay. JC.
아미타불 감사합니다, 마스터님. 제 소견으로는 이제 그 시기 때 제자분들이 그것을 이제 받아들일 수 있는 레벨이 되셔서 그래서 부처님께서 석가모니 부처님께서 그렇게 말씀하셨다고 그렇게 생각이 됩니다.
In my opinion, I think that their disciples' level can accept the teaching. That's why he said like that.
Okay, possible. JMT.
네, 저도 비슷한데 복이 차서 그렇다고 생각합니다.
Because of their blessing.
Okay. What the Buddha meant, whatever he meant, is something that sticks out to me, is when he says, Ichantika have insufficient faith, therefore they cannot become a Buddha. So what is the message? If you have faith, anyone can become a Buddha. Isn't that fascinating? What does it mean? Why is it the case if you have faith, anyone can become a Buddha? Let me tell you, because you don't know. That's why the Buddha says, here's what happens to you. In your spiritual path, in your life, you the one who are limiting yourself. You says, I don't believe you. I believe in myself. Sounds familiar? Yeah, sir? Number 9?
Master, I think probably because you don't, I think he meant you don't have to be a scholar, you can just have faith, and it doesn't matter what you know.
No, it's not that. No. This faith here has a very special meaning, not the way you think faith is. Faith in God, or faith in the dollar, or faith in the president, or faith in whatever. No, this is different kind of faith we're talking about. Happy Vesak? Question more, JC?
네, 아미타불 스님, 바른 믿음을 가져야 한다고 할 때 저희가 그럼 어떤 믿음을 가져야 할지 궁금합니다.
Master, what is the proper faith?
here's my dilemma. My dilemma is that it's not when people talk about faith, you confuse them with faith in God, faith in the Bible, faith in the Quran, faith in Victor Hugo, and faith in the God, Vishnu, and so forth. It's not that. It's not that. Whether you believe in Victor Hugo or the prophet and so forth, there's nothing wrong with that. You can believe. But what kind of faith is he talking about that's insufficient? The reason Ichantikas cannot become a Buddha is not because he doesn't believe in a Buddha. He does believe in a Buddha. He does believe in Bodhisattvas, right? Because it says he insufficient meaning has faith, but it's not enough. Are we clear on that? Huh? Insufficient meaning he has faith. It's not he doesn't, but it's not enough. So what's the problem? What's the problem? He has faith. So what kind of, in other words, let me paraphrase it for you. So, in other words, what kind of faith is he lacking? He has faith, but he's lacking in some type of faith. Does it make sense to you? Yes, go for us.
Thank you, Master. Could it be that he lacks faith in his Buddha nature?
Yeah, faith in the Buddha nature, you can't blame him. He said, he says, if you tell him, have faith in your Buddha nature, he says, my Buddha nature? I can't even see it. How can I have faith? When I have faith in the greenback, I see, $100 bill. I know I can use it. Yes, it's real, it's concrete to me. When you say Buddha nature, what color is it? Is it rectangular? Is it round? How much does it weigh? Huh? Yes, sir.
Master, is it related to blessings, like a level of faith and a level of blessings?
Absolutely. It's always have a blessing. You tell me blessings, I say, amen. He says, lack of blessings, amen. You can't go wrong. Okay? But besides blessing, can you be specific? What kind of faith? We're not talking about blessings. What kind of faith are we talking about? And this is my dilemma. Yes, 5.
From Cordelia, faith needs to be developed. Once has enough faith, anyone can be a Buddha. From Din Tai, faith will help us overcome our doubt or obstacle in the spiritual path. From Chao Chun, faith in themselves. From Din Tai, this faith arises from a deeper understanding of the spiritual teaching, etc. This faith will transform to knowing eventually.
Yeah, okay, not wrong. Yes, continue.
They're unable to execute the instructions from their good knowing advisor.
Who said that?
Me.
Me? Who's me? Oh, excuse me. Yes? 2?
Faith in Mahayana was missing.
Faith in Mahayana, what is Mahayana?
Mahayana is
it like brown rice?
No, it's the Bodhi resolve. It's the belief that you could become a Buddha.
Yeah, but I'm hungry.
Then a good delicious pho would be faith in Mahayana at this point.
Well,
yes.
it's not about faith in Mahayana. It's too big. Mahayana is humongous. If you say that you have to believe there's so many things, you don't have enough time to develop that faith. This is what's beautiful about faith. Faith is that you don't need to believe in everything. That's why I claim to you, my approach is that I'm not interested in scholarly things. for you to understand and be exposed to all the teachings. I'm more interested in you doing the chant so that you can develop your wisdom a lot quicker. Okay, develop your faith a lot quicker than the Ichantika. Ichantika never took the time to develop faith. In other words. Okay? There's a difference between knowledge and faith. What you talk about is knowledge. You say, I know by Mahayana. I think Mahayana is this. You call it knowledge and faith is very close enough. But it's not the kind of faith we're talking about. The faith, the Chantikas, is that they believe in the process. Okay? They believe in the teachings. But they don't believe in the personal instructions. That's why they're not going to do it. Remember? Scholars that you get a book, you memorize it, you study it, I give you a certificate that says you finished this coursework. That's scholarly. Okay? In Chan schools, they said we don't go for scholarly. We said, you meditate until I show you how to see your Buddha nature. Along the way, you be healthier. Along the way, you live longer. Along the way, you look younger. Along the way, all the good things happen, but that's never our goal. Along the way, you have spiritual penetration and so forth. It's never our goal. Our goal is much bigger. Because our goal in Chan is for you to see your true nature, something called your nature, your self-nature, your Buddha nature, that you have. So Chan Dharma door is for you. What is it you need to do in order to see that nature of yours, who you really are? You for yourself, not because I tell you to, because you will see it yourself. You have to see it yourself. Instead of someone telling you, no, your nature is white, your nature is black, your nature is a foundation, white foundation. Okay? No. In China, you see it for yourself. And what happens is, in order for that to happen, your teacher says, do this, and then do that, and do this. Okay? And he's guiding you. But if you don't believe in those instructions, you will not become a Buddha. That's what insufficient faith means. They believe, yes, Buddha is a good guy, good dude. Sangha is good people. Malcolm is a good prospect, and so forth. Okay, but they believe all the goodness. They believe all the right things, but they lack the belief in the things that will help them see their nature. And that's a problem with scholars, for example. You can go Echantika as a scholar. Scholar is Echantika because they know so much, they believe so much, but they don't believe enough so that they cannot see their nature. Because they are not willing to follow the instructions. When you see your Buddha nature, all the scholarly things that's written out there is a grain of sand in the Ganges River. the whatever you can learn this lifetime here is about worth 1 grain of sand in Ganges rivers. What is the basis of my claim? That Bodhisattva called Lung Shu, dragon tree Bodhisattva, he went down from our human realm to the Dragon King Palace to read the Avatamsaka Sutra, this sutra here. And 3 versions. The version we got here is the shortest version. Okay, there's a mid-sized version, and there is a true version, which has limitless number of verses. Meaning that whatever we have right now here is a tiny, tiny subsection of that particular version of the Avatamsaka Sutra. So you spend your lifetime learning this and thinking you're a scholar. Whereas Lung Shu, who doesn't do that, he didn't do that. He meditated, and then he went down to the Dragon King's palace and read the Avatamsaka Sutra himself, and he acquired knowledge and wisdom just like that. Infinitely. Whereas your mind is finite right now. And that's what happens. If you choose to say, I'm going to acquire knowledge, I'm going to use my brains, acquire knowledge and cram it in and analyze it and synthesize it, okay? It's only because you don't have faith in anyone who says, you do this, you can open the kind of smarts, the kind of wisdom that you didn't think you're capable of. So that's why the scholars, for example, lack that kind of faith. Questions or comments? It's not that we're not willing to teach you. We're willing to teach you, show you how to do it. It's you who have insufficient faith. That's why you cannot become enlightened. It's not like Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are scared of you. They want to become better than you. They want you to be just like them. They want you to become Buddhas too, Bodhisattvas too. That's why they're Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Not a single bone or hair of jealousy in their brains. If something good happens to others, they're very happy for them. It's not a single thought of, why not me? Why I work so hard, I don't get as good as results as this person. That's jealousy, that's pettiness. They don't have that. Trust me. So if you ask them, are they capable of helping you, they tell you. They don't hold back. It's you, especially you, scholarly people who learn sutras and learn so forth. This is why, one of the reasons why I avoid this right now with you, because I don't want you to go into this realm where you know so much about Buddhism theory that you think you know everything. You only know the superficial things, the tiny portions of Buddhism. The real Buddhism is not here. Here's only a finger pointing to the moon in a Chan world, Chan parlance, meaning that this is only a subset, a tiny, tiny representative portion of the real deal, called the moon. The whole of Mahayana is up there, not down here. Not the reflection of the moon on the water surface, on the river. The moon that you see on the water surface, that reflection there is all that you see here in the human realm. All the knowledge, all the Tripitaka you have here is like that reflection of the moon only. It's not the whole thing. The whole thing is up there. And scholars and Ichantikas mistakenly think that the reflection of the moon on the river is a real moon. And they will not listen. And on the other hand, the Chan schools like ours, we said, hey, it's okay. You can believe all you want, but all you need to do now is do this, do that, and you will see the real moon. Look up. I show you how. But they said, nah, I have my moon already. And that's the kind of deficiency in faith that's hurting them. It's not they don't believe. They believe in the good things, all the great things here of Buddhism. But they lack sufficient faith to follow special instruction for them to see the real deal. So don't think that the Chantika is someone so far away in India and those poor buggers who now have no more Buddhism or whatever. No, it's us. Yes, 5.
From San Francisco, Daniel, Master, is not being able to keep precepts even when one wants to also lack of this kind of faith you're talking to us about?
Yes, it's partially related, yes. But for that particular instance, it's only because you don't have enough blessings. There's a process where in order for you to keep precepts, you need to have more blessings. This is a secret. The reason I can tell you, we tell you, don't do this, don't steal, don't lie. Anyone heard it before? Don't steal, don't lie. And guess what you do? You steal, you lie. You steal the pens from your office. Don't you? I used to. I would go and then, every month they bought new pens, pilot pens and big pens and, whatever. And I would go and pick one and put it in my pocket and walk in it and then it's a normal thing for people to do. Office supplies. Take, those yellow notepads, anyone? That's the old times. When now we steal Kindles and iPads. Yes, 9.
Master, if somebody is skilled at manipulating others, is that lying and stealing?
Because we've been manipulated? Could be. Yeah, but if you have the blessings, they cannot manipulate you. They won't succeed. You may be manipulated, but you won't steal. Yes, back there. 2.
Master, so
yes.
Sometimes we need something printed, so Daniel will print it from his office paper. So is that considered stealing?
Yes.
But then I give something to
Did
the
you do
office
it?
Also. I provide water and some other stuff for the office also.
Usually the proper thing to do is to pay for it.
But how do I pay for it in my office?
You tell them. For example, you say, I printed 5 pages for personal use, not for company use. Okay? And a copy at what is a copier? How much did they charge? Huh?
It's Daniel's own office.
It's not your office.
Yeah, but he's printing it.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
So how do we...
He's not Buddhist. It's okay. It's okay. Absolutely, it's okay for them to do whatever they want. But for us, what we do is that I would say, if I go to a print shop, the printer might charge me like 50 cents a page. Okay? Not dual face, but single face. Okay? Be careful here. I used to print too. So you pay 50 cents out there, let's say. Then you pay you printed 4 pages. I would put in $2 worth of money in the office. I said, I use this for my personal use. Here's my contribution. That's all. It's that simple. Yeah, Mama, agree or disagree? Yeah. Everyone now is wearing masks. I heard that the COVID is getting worse. No? Again? Yes, in the back.
Master, can I please repent?
Oh no.
Oh,
How many pages did you steal?
I steal
A lot.
hundreds. I print a Pure Land recitation book from my office.
And what is your name and where you work again?
I work at IILA.
Yeah, okay. Well, now that you done it, then you should give them. It's not too late yet to pay them.
Yes, Master.
Okay. So again, going back, let's not get lost in the all these stealing things here. We're all guilty of it. I don't know about you, I'm guilty of it as well. Lucky for me is I didn't take the 5 precepts, so I don't have to repent. I do have to repent. But anyway, see, for me, I repent to myself. No, never mind. No, you can't do that. Anyway, and so the point here, to me, tonight, I just thought of this insufficient faith bothers me, because the Buddhist scholars and Master YongHua talked about that Ichantika has insufficient faith. I asked myself, what faith is lacking that makes Ichantikas unable to see in nature, to become enlightened, become a Buddha? Faith in following instructions. Because what happened is that, I see it too, a lot of like Korean Sunims, they come to my temple and they said, why do you do this? I went through Sunim training schools for 5-6 years, 3 years to 6 years, because I go half time, so it took me 5-6 years. Okay, and we do it differently. How come you tell us that your instructions are different? Okay, and of course our orders is a lot bigger than yours. Has been around longer than you've been. So of course, who do we believe? We believe ours, and precisely. You believe yours, that's why you're still where you are for 50 years. Okay, so it's understandable where your reference points are based on the other stuff. That's why you find it hard to accept the instruction from people like Master YongHua. However, on the other hand, okay, if you're a Chantika like I was, because you told me about Buddhism, I said, nah, I believe in the dollar. You want me to believe something? I believe in money. Okay, I worship money. You asked me. Okay, so I was in a Chantika. Okay, and that's how poor I was. I didn't even believe in Buddhism. Here we're talking in Chantikas as people who believe in Buddhism, believe in liberal Buddhism. Okay, but later these Chantikas, like myself included, they found someone who suddenly said, "Wow, you know what? I'm going to do what he tells me to, just for the heck of it." Why? Because I saw how his other disciples became enlightened. I saw that they're enlightened. Many of them are enlightened. Okay? And therefore, I'm hoping that if I follow his instructions, I too will get there. And that's what happened in Ichantikas. Ichantikas, They started being Ichantakas because they didn't have enough faith. They believe in Buddhism, believe in Buddha, believe in Bodhisattvas, but not enough to become enlightened themselves, become a Buddha themselves. However, through time, over time, okay, conditions change, and Ichantakas, okay, develop faith in what? The good knowing advisor. Before, they only are for themselves. They believe only in themselves or the wrong teacher, the teachers who have no wisdom. But later, the Ichantakas, okay, they have insufficient faith, but they develop faith for not just any kind of faith, just one particular kind of faith. A faith in the instructions or faith in the good knowing advisor. That's a shortcut in a Chan, Dharma door, Chan world. Here, in a sutra world, in a teaching world, you need to study the prajna teachings, the prajna scrolls, the Chan sutras. Over 600 rolls of prajna that will teach you how you can become enlightened. 600 rolls. That's a lot of words to read. Lots of characters to digest. Whereas the good knowing advice instruction are very, 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 very short. One-liners, 2, 3-liners, that's it. So over time, the Ichantakas who follow the path found it too hard to keep up or to get satisfaction quickly enough. They said, okay, you know what? I see the track record that Master YongHua set for himself when he came to the U.S. He brought all these losers, Caucasian losers, Asian losers, and turned them into enlightened beings. That's the first time that systematically a monk says, this is how you can do it. There's a system for you to do it. There's a way for you to do it in the China world called Wei Yang. Lineage. This is our style. This is our methodology. And because of that, his disciples, his followers, saw the nature, became Buddhas, became Bodhisattvas. Okay? So that's how they become. You start being Ichantika, but eventually, if you develop the right faith, and I said very specific, it doesn't matter who you are. You don't have to be Buddhist even. If you have faith in a good knowing advisor, the good knowing advisor never asks you, are you Buddhist? If you're not Buddhist, I'm not going to teach you. Never. Well, not all teachers are like that. But someone like Master YongHua says, I don't care what you are, who you are, how rich you are, how short you are. Okay? I will teach you. You want to learn. And that's why the Buddha, at first he says, Ichantakas has no faith. On the surface, he's like picking on LGBTQ. Sort of like. Okay? But he's not. He's actually pointing out to them that you are an Ichantika because you don't have this faith. Okay? Later, he says, later Ichantakas can become Buddhas because they overcome their deficiency in faith. You see the meaning of the word Ichantika? It's beautiful. Ichantika says, you cannot become a Buddha because you don't have enough faith. Therefore, implied, it does not preclude that the fact that in the future, when you have enough faith, you can become Buddhas. So why are the scholars making a big deal out of this? There's a contradiction. There's no contradiction to me. Does it make sense to you? Or is this me getting excited for nothing? I don't get it. How come the scholars never question the Buddha? If I were a scholar, I'd say, hey, you're the Buddha. You cannot say Chanta can become a Buddha and then change your mind and say, now you can. I mean, how can you be so wishy-washy? Does it mean, if that's the case, should I believe? How can I possibly believe in whatever you tell me? Because you could negate it next. I don't understand why scholars never ask that. I don't understand why Buddhist disciples never ask that. I don't understand why. If I had a chance, I would ask Master Hsuan Hua myself, my old teacher myself, Master, how can a Buddha be so wishy-washy? You can't say, you cannot become a Buddha, and then later say, you can become Buddha. Come on, make up your mind, man. And there's no contradiction here. You get my point? It's the same thing. Ichantaka cannot become Buddha. Doesn't mean he's not forever. He cannot become a Buddha because he has not the right kind of faith. But when he has the right kind of faith, he can become a Buddha. That's all there is to it. It's no contradiction. Why do the scholars, why do the Buddhist disciple, why do the monks and nuns say there's contradiction in the Nirvana Sutra? I claim, to me personally, there's no contradiction whatsoever. Am I the only person? Usually, thank you. I feel so much passion about it, and it's not appreciated. You sit there, oh yeah, okay. So what do I do? Yeah. Okay, I feel like stopping now. I'm so exhausted. The whole day is non-stop. Okay, no break at all. The whole time, morning from 4 until now, it's non-stop. I'm so tired now. And after this, I still find the energy to talk to you about Ichantakas and tell you how I feel about it. There's no contradiction. The Buddha is very consistent. It's we who do not understand him. And everyone goes, can I go back to my work now? Okay, and that's called the teaching of the permanently dwelling, not the teaching of existence of mark, the teaching of marklessness. Meaning what? What's the teaching of permanently dwelling? How come people never ask these things? It bothers me. Because when I talk to you, I said, I'm always so frightened that some smart Alex said, Master, what is teaching of permanent dwelling? Why is it called teaching of permanent dwelling? Why teaching of marks, teaching of marklessness? Now it's teaching of permanently dwelling? Why? Why is it not called teaching of Putin? Huh? Or Uncle Un? Huh? So what is permanently dwelling? Means that the Buddha nature is permanently present in all of us, dwells permanently. Doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. Where is Xian Fa? I look at her, I say, I'm not sure I should call you boy or girl. Okay? And doesn't matter if you're white or yellow. Doesn't matter at all. The Buddha nature is permanently present and dwelling in all of us. Whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter even. If you say, I am actually Hindu, we say, yes, so it is for you. It is permanently dwelling in you as well. So deep down, it's a Buddha nature permanently dwelling in you, and on the surface, it's a Hindu guy. It doesn't change you. I mean, it's like you changing clothes. You wear a different set of clothes, Hindu clothes, Chinese clothes, military clothes, marine clothes. Anyone? Huh? Air Force clothes. But underneath, you're still a human being. Same thing. Underneath, you are a Buddha. But on top, temporarily, you wear this hat and these weird wigs and so forth. That's all. That's why it's called permanent dwelling. Doesn't matter what you do now or in the future. Your Buddha nature is still inside of you. It's dwelling inside of you. That's why, I'm not kissing your face. I'm kissing your Buddha nature. You gotta, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, love you, Buddha nature, Buddha all of you. There you go. Isn't that cool? You know, this is the first time I assure you that I'm aware of that someone says there's no contradiction in the Nirvana Sutra, the way the Buddha lectured it. Everyone tiptoed around it. No one dare ask, how come Buddha really reversed himself? And he's the world-honored one? And he's the one who has ultimate wisdom? And he's wishy-washy? Huh? Doesn't it bother you? I'd be so embarrassed. I say, oh my God, my Buddha, he has moments of weaknesses, like me. No! Got that? Isn't it cool? God, you guys are really hopeless. That's why it's called permanently dwelling. The Buddha nature is present in all of us. Whether you believe it or not makes no difference. But if you believe in your good no advisor, you can uncover, you can peel off those layers for you to see yourself. Any of you. All of us. That's so cool about it. .413, almost there. This is largely the same as the teaching of the three periods by Tripitaka of Tang, as will be discussed upon reaching the Western region's explanations.
此与唐三藏30之教大同，智述西域中说。
Okay, 414 basically it says later when there's another, it's similar to another later explanation. Okay, in here we're looking at the old world, China, the Chinese, and the Chinese. Okay, and then later they will look at the Indian Buddhism. Now we're discussing Chinese Buddhism, the Indian Buddhism will be discussed later, and then we'll be clearer when we're there. So that's not go into it for now. Okay, 415. Tripitaka Master Paramartha, based upon the golden light, established the teaching of the three circuits of turning, illumining, and maintaining, which was also largely the same as this.
真谛三藏依金光明力转照持三轮之教，亦 大同此而实解小义。
Very good. 416. Now, this Tripitaka Indian master, Paramartha, means true meaning or true principles. They have these cool names that means something in Sanskrit. So he based his teaching on something called the Golden Light Sutra. Okay, and so from that sutra, Golden Light Sutra, he preached that the three types of teachings, teaching of the three circuits of turning, the teachings of illumining, and the teaching of maintaining, which is the same thing as the teaching, similar to the teaching of existence of marks, the teaching of marklessness, and the teaching of permanently dwelling. It's the same, according to Master Ching Liang. So far, so good? 417. Yet there were minor differences in the divisions of time. That is, in the 7 years prior, there was speaking of four truths, which he called the circuit of turning, the Dharma wheel.
为7年前说四谛明转法轮。
Okay, so you see, commentary slide 418. So you see, even though the teachings, the classification may differ in names, but actually, in principle, it's the same thing they're talking about. They call it, instead of, it's just like Jakyon is Jakyon, and then husband calls her honey, and the son calls her mommy. But it's the same person, okay? Same teaching, okay? But however, there's some in terms of timing, of how they classify based on the time periods. There's some minor differences. So, for example, in the Agama period, where it's about 7-8 years, the Buddha teaches about the Four Noble Truths, and that is called turning the Dharma wheel type of teaching. Okay, so it's called turning the wheel. Okay? 419. After 7 years, they were speaking of prajna, which comprised the two circuits of turning and illumining, because emptiness was used to illumine existence.
7年后说般若，具转照二轮，以空照有故；30年后具转照持，以双照空有，持前二故。
That is more. I think it's 30 years, and it's the next one. Yeah. Okay. I think the Chinese is too much. It's not matching. 30 years, the next section. Okay. Anyway, clean up later. Not a big deal. Most of them don't speak Chinese anyway. All the Chinese are sleeping. Yeah, or enjoying the weekend. The hard-working Koreans don't understand Chinese anyway, so. Okay, so after turning period, there's something called prajna, which is involved at the other two phases, the two types of turning, which involve turning and illumining. Okay, so that was done in the period of prajna teaching period. Prajna Sutra, as I said, came from India to China in 600 rolls. Back then, they didn't have the books. They have rolls. They wrote sutras on maybe bamboo, on paper, and they roll it up. Okay, no binding. And prajna, the prajna period, prajna teaching, is actually can be classified as turning and illumining. The turning meaning you speak of the the truth, the principles of Buddhism, and illumining is that it means here, it explains here, because he says in the teaching, he uses emptiness to illumine existence. Okay, so that's part of wisdom. Okay, meaning that, why is it wisdom? What does emptiness have to do with it? With existence. Existence is what you have. Your Lexus is existence. Your house is existence. Your money is existence. Okay? How about emptiness? How can emptiness illumine existence? Because whatever you have will become empty. That's why it's called illumine, meaning that it shines a light on that thing so that you can see clearly. Can you see that? And eventually, your body, your forehead will have more wrinkles, more rolls. Your skin, as you keep a light on there long enough, you see your skin actually becomes ugly. And your hair starts falling off. It turns gray. Ask Chan Phong and Go Forest. He'll tell you about it. Okay, the more you think, the wider your hair becomes. Unless you dye it. Okay, so that's why if you shine a light on existence long enough, you see that all existence eventually will vanish. Nothing lasts forever. That is emptiness. So emptiness, you understand the concept of emptiness, and you see existence in under different lights, don't you? You say, wow, eventually this desert, this ocean will become a desert, then will become strawberry fields. So it shouldn't be attached to the ocean, shouldn't be attached to the desert. So illumine is that you see it clearer, see it clearly so that you don't become attached to it. Does it make sense? No? Okay, never mind. Four more minutes. Okay, I don't have enough time. Anyone? Question from JC. Yes. Happy Vesak to you too.
Master.
Hey, are you coming?
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
예.
Yeah.
질문 드리는데 다음 주 불칠하는 첫날에 가는데 단식을 하려고 해요. 근데 이제 불칠 기간에는 단식을 하는 게 좋지 않다고 하는데 제가 한 2주간 있거든요. 언제부터 해서 며칠간 하는 게 좋을지 질문 드립니다.
Wow, she changed so much since, is it last year that she fell and broke her ankles? Wow, this girl changed so much. Oh.
Master, next week, during the first day of Fochi, I will go there, and then I will do fast. So I heard that
you flew all the way from Korea to San Francisco to fast? Wait a minute. We have a lot of good American food. How could you fast? Are you crazy? Who told you to fast? That person is fired. Live a little.
제가
Oh, okay, you can't fire yourself. No, live a little. Don't fast so much. You're going to be there 2 weeks, right? Okay, then take a few days to recover because there's a jet lag. You're flying what airline?
아나
Anna.
아시아나
Asiana, the food is horrible. And there's a jet lag. So I would give myself 2-3 days to recover from a jet lag, okay, and eat some good American food. Next year, Chung-In Sunim takes care of that. Chung-In Sunim, can you make that promise? Speak. Chung-In Sunim, speak to her. Say, come and give me time to give you some good food to eat.
네.
네, you see? That's very talkative, Chung-In. Yeah. Okay, so no hurry, you fast, okay? How long did you fast? Have you fasted so far?
3일간요.
3 days.
3 days. Okay. Then next, when you're here, fast for about, I think she can handle 9, but I'll be gentle. I can do 7. I will let you do 7, and then on the 7th day, I take a look at you and see what's going to happen. And I think I can push you to 9. Okay? That's enough. You have plenty of time. Okay? Give Chung-In Chunim a chance to feed you with his food.
Yes, Master.
Okay, good girl. Thank you. Okay, we stop here. Anyone else? Let's do rebirth transference and then we let them go. Okay. Thank you.